this is Marvellous Action Figures and I'm Paul, and oh my goodness, I've got a marvellous action figure today. This is a grail figure for me. I've been after this for so long, as soon as I saw it, and I've managed to track it down. It is the Mezco 112 Collective Batman Gotham by Gaslight. I've been obsessing over this figure for ages. Quick, let's have a look at the box before we get into the actual figure. This has got the brilliant Mike Mignola art. This is lifted straight from the cover. It's an Elseworlds graphic novel from back in the 1980s. It is an alternate version of Batman where he comes up against Jack the Ripper. It's Batman Year One meets Jack the Ripper because he's just starting out as Batman, and he travels back to Gotham after years abroad. And Jack the Ripper has moved to London. My goodness me, it is a beautiful figure. I can't wait to get stuck into it. Looking at this beautiful stylized Batman with the old school sort of cloak, the highwayman style cloak. Brilliant, brilliant design. Head articulation is great. Look how far back the neck goes. I've got to say, he doesn't actually look that tall. I do think this Batman should be a bit more tall. I don't know whether it's the tunic on him that makes him not look as tall. In terms of articulation, because of that tunic, soft goods, reasonable T-pose. There's a double bend on the elbow that's okay. I think that's actually quite a good start to get it to with these soft goods, and that moves quite well. Nice smooth joint articulation. There's a little bicep swivel. There's a reasonable crunch on it, considering he's got this massive belt across his waist as well. The side to side is okay actually as well. That's not too bad at all. Reasonable bend on the legs. Don't forget you've got soft goods, so the splits aren't massive here, and a good double bend back on the elbow. Knee, that's really good. Not a lot of ankle pivot going on there or hinge, but I mean, it's just the most amazing stylized figure. I'm just so pleased with it. The cape is brilliant. The wired effect for the posing, it's got elastic straps over the shoulders there, which keep it in place and keep that shape to it. The cape on this is much better than the Doctor Doom cape in terms of the wired posing for it. It sits really strong, sturdy. Looks beautiful. It's taken me quite a while to get this review done. I've had this figure for ages, but I just wanted to hopefully do it justice, get it out of the box. It's just so fantastically stylized. The look on the tunic, everything about it. Like I say, it doesn't look the tallest, but I might disprove that a bit later on. Right, let's get stuck into the accessories, because as always with Mezco, there are a lot. Okay, so on the top layer, we have the figure looking beautiful. We have two alternate heads, so we have more of a mean, grimacing Batman head, and then a brilliant Bruce Wayne head. More on that in a minute or in a few seconds. Brilliantly stylized look to this Batman. We've got lots of hands, so we've got 4 extra sets of hands there, plus the hands he comes with, which make 5, and the glider is phenomenal as well. More on that a lot later. Looking at the next layer of accessories, so we have the stand with the brilliant artwork on it. We have batarangs, more on them in a minute. We have daggers, more on them in a minute. We also have within this box, we have goggles for the glider, and we have a mask, an unmasked mask, which we'll have a look at as well. Let's get into some of these in more detail. So, working through some of these beautiful accessories, we'll start off first thing. Bring them a bit closer. So have a look at it. Bring them to the side. So we'll start off with the second Batman head. More moody, more of the grimace on it. Not an angry fighting head, but it looks fantastic. Those horns are razor sharp, by the way, on the cowl. This Bruce Wayne head is brilliant. Look at the sideburns on that bad boy. A proper Victorian looking Bruce Wayne, mean, moody. It's really cool. This is the removed cowl, which got great shape and structure to it, and that fits in nicely to one of his hands, so you can have him holding the mask in his hand, because there's a part in the story where he unmasks himself to Jack the Ripper. Spoiler alert, I won't tell you too much about it. That is great. It looks really well. It sits at such, it's got a nice feel to it, so it looks loose. Works brilliantly. These batarangs are brilliant. The detail on them, the little gold linings and paint applications are fantastic. 6 really cool daggers, super sharp as well. They look really good. Good sort of detail on the handles, not a lot of weathering, but they look good. He's just starting out, so they wouldn't be that weathered yet, to be honest. And then you've got an extra little belt pouch here, and that clips onto his belt, front or back on it. And then what you can sit in that is you've got this grappling hook, which is fantastic. It looks great as well. That sits in there nicely. It doesn't work the best up against his body because obviously the spokes on it stick out quite a lot, so it sort of protrudes from his back a bit. But you can drop it on there, depending on what sort of shot you wanted to do. If he's about to set off grappling on a rooftop, that would work quite well. But you can also, with that pouch, I found that you can put the daggers into it, not the daggers, sorry, the batarangs into it. The batarangs sit quite nicely into it at an angle where he would be able to then grab one half of it, whip it out, fling it at some baddies. So it looks really, really good. Right, we're going to build the glider. I've dropped his goggles on now, which look really, really cool. Very, very biggles there. Very magnificent men in their flying machine. Taking the cape off, so I've unhooked the elastic on there. The glider is staggeringly well designed. It looks fantastic. Every detail. Metal looks like metal, and there is some die cast on it. Padding looks like fur padding. Leather looks like leather. It's genius. It's got an absolute steampunk look to it. Now, this actually featured in the second Elseworlds book of the Victorian Batman, and it just looks staggering. The wings are very, very simple to attach. It looks complicated in the box, but they really aren't. So the hinge lifts up there, and that's what gives you, as you see, the bat motion. Beautiful fabric on the wings, matching exactly the colour of the cape, which works really well. And again, this sort of steampunk look to it. The metal, the copper on it, the bronze, it looks exactly out of its era. You've got the handles for the glider there that it holds onto. They're on a great little hinge as well. They pop in very simply and very securely into these two holes on the back. The little pegs go onto them. So it gives you the motion on them, and it gives you the mobility on them as well. It just looks fantastic. It's not one that I'll use quite often because it's quite fiddly to muck around with, and equally I want this Batman in the proper Victorian look with the cape with it as well. But this is glorious. We will now kit him up with it. One thing just to mention as well, which I forgot, is that here on the side you pop off the glider straps, and that lifts up, and then that lifts over his head, and then that sits on to him. That is how you get it on. I should have showed that at the same time. Here is the glider in flight on Batman. It looks epic. I really do like it. Like I said, I'm not going to keep it in pose all the time like this. I'm going to get some shots of this though as well. Not an easy one to whack a flight stand on and try and blemish out the flight stand from the picture, but it looks brilliant. It looks just like it does in the graphic novel version. It looks really cool. A lot of detail and thoughts go into this. It's a real bonus to get it with this figure, to be honest. I wouldn't have expected. I'd be very happy to have had the figure without this to it. To be honest, getting this figure is an absolute bonus. So it looks beautiful. It works fantastically well. It's proper Victorian steampunk era, working perfectly for that sort of gothic, vibrant Gotham look that we would like. It's an absolute winner. Okay, let's scale him up. I always like to try and scale my figures. I'll put the knuckle dusters on him here as well. I didn't show that accessory earlier. Fist with knuckle dusters are brilliant. Here is the Mafex Superman, the Superman Hush version. And this is where I was surprised. So looking at this Batman figure in isolation, I did not think he was that tall. And I think it's the boots, where they're so high on his leg, it makes him look like he's got little legs. But he actually towers over this Mafex Superman, which did really surprise me. I absolutely did not expect that to happen. So this is a great world's finest matchup. Those two colour schemes are brilliantly well together. Batman is taller than Superman generally as well, even though Superman is the big dog. And so I think that's a really good matchup. And it really surprised me actually until I started scaling them up, which is why you scale them up, how close he looked in size and scale to him. So I've now brought in a Mezco. I like to try and keep my figure scale ups to sort of the same sort of things. I don't like mixing and matching too extreme. So this is a Mezco v Mezco, soft goods v soft goods. Doctor Strange travels through time, multiverse. He could meet Batman. Again, Strange is actually quite a tall figure as well, which I didn't really expect until I put him up against this Batman. Chunkier body on Batman, but good size scale to it as well. That worked particularly well. And then I've gone for what I thought would look like a giant figure over this Batman, but it doesn't look as big as I actually thought it would. So here is Maestro Union's veteran William from the Furry Planet. That is beautiful. I can't wait to get these two in action against each other, because Batman can meet a werewolf, and where else would you get a werewolf than in the Victorian era as well? It's perfect, my friends, perfect. So Batman and werewolf look glorious, and that's a great matchup. So actually this Batman scales up much better than I thought he would, and he is a lot taller than I actually think he was. It's got to be those boots. It's got to be those boots. Okay, the posing session is to follow, but that's all I've got on this figure. It is a beaut. It is straight in there as one of my top figures of the year without question. I absolutely love it. I didn't ever think I would get this, and in such a beautiful scale with fine soft goods as well. Everything about it is a winner. I have zero complaints about this figure. Hope you like it. Hope you like this review of it. Let me know what you think. Have you got this figure? Let me know what you think of the glider, anything that comes with it. And if you wouldn't mind giving it a like and subscribe, that would be great. Thank you. And if you are giving it a like and subscribe, then thank you even more, because I really appreciate it. Thanks for everyone who watches these videos. Loads more on the channel to check out. Leave you with another look at this glorious figure, and see you again soon. Bye for now.